Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome all of you in today's workshop, the Artificial Intelligence and Data Analytics Lab at Prince Sultan University organized several webinar series for the community. In today's webinar, the speaker will discuss about design thinking for AI application. Let me start by introducing our invited speaker, Mr. Raneem Rashid. Mr. Raneem is an emerging technology enthusiast working as a blockchain consultant at Smart Chain based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She's also associated with Pearson Professional as an emerging technology course instructor in AI and blockchain. She collaborates with wiseHer platform as a blockchain expert and is a community advocate at Chainlink. Mr. Raneem is a certified blockchain solution architect, enterprise design thinking practitioner, and IBM Blockchain and R3 Corda certified. I'll be sharing with you the attendance sheet, so kindly fill the information correctly so you can receive the recording of this session as well as your certificate of attendance. I'll pass the floor now to Mr. Raneem. Please, you can start. Thank you.
Okay, just let me share my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, it's clear.
Just a second. Okay, hello, assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. And today our workshop will be on design thinking for AI application. I know most of you coming from like students from Prince Sultan University are very well versed with the artificial intelligence because I have been following with the seminars and the workshops being held under the IDA lab. And they discuss different aspects of artificial intelligence, like how AI plays a role in COVID and how to deal with the challenges of AI. I have seen different seminars on the same concept of AI. Today, I decided to work and discuss with you about design thinking practice for your artificial intelligence applications. For me, being an enterprise design thinking practitioner, I decided to bring this topic to you because it is very important for you if you are thinking to carry on your career on AI or being an AI, you can say in any field of artificial intelligence, like it can be on executive level, on decision-making level, or you can be on a development level or designer or data analyst or anything. If you have the concept of design thinking, it will help you on achieving your goal, that why you are working on this specific application and why you are adopting artificial intelligence. So today our topic of discussion is, you can say there are two parts. First is design thinking, okay? So as I have been certified from IBM as a design thinking practitioner, I see that the scope is huge. And if we follow design thinking in even AI, in blockchain, or in any technology, if you follow design thinking practices, you will achieve your goal with a solid reason and with a good success, and you can say moving forward with whatever you want to achieve, with your goals, with your missions, because you have a clear idea what you really wanted to do. So my focus will be to let you understand what's basically the design thinking word. And then we will proceed it that why we are discussing design thinking for AI applications. Because once you got the idea of design thinking, maybe you are wondering why we are discussing it for AI. I was aware of AI applications. We were developing it very smoothly, it all working fine. What's the real need of applying this design thinking practice? In good multinational organizations like big tech giants, they do apply this design thinking practice. What I really wanted to bring here is design thinking should be applied everywhere, like in all the major projects where you are working and you are trying to really solve a problem, because you should know that everyone's goal is to make their product successful, a success product. Along with it, trying to target the right market. Okay, so the user should be your goal. That okay, I should I should target my user, and I should be able to solve the real problem what my users are having. So we will be trying to discuss more on the design thinking perspective and taking it towards with AI applications. And I will let you trigger your brains with some sort of example that okay, where I can identify that okay, I am going with design thinking practice as well. So once you are working on field with a design thinking approach, you should know that how you will proceed with your team, who you will have when you are working in a design thinking framework. So this will be my topic today, and that was my motivation to discuss design thinking with AI applications, so that you will achieve your success and your goal with your AI product or AI application. So before delving in, Ms. Hind already introduced me a lot about briefly about myself. So I will just add on a few things here. I'm certified from IBM as a design thinking practitioner. Along with it, I did certification from design thinking practitioner for AI, basically, that how AI works. And the reason behind that is I teach AI for Leaders course at Pearson Professional Middle East, where we are teaching the concepts of artificial intelligence at business level to business executives, to you can say startup owners, to C-level executives, decision making bodies, and even students like who are just learning for the sake of their career growth. So being an AI leader trainer, I found the need that we should discuss it more, that how you should take design thinking as your for your AI strategy, for a solid AI strategy. So that's how I got myself into design thinking practice and design thinking courses and got certified from there. And one thing to add on in my introduction is that I'm also a student in the University of Nicosia. So I'm pursuing my master's there in digital currencies. So that's just a little bit add on to what Ms. Hind already introduced in the very starting. Okay, so for the content today, we will briefly discuss about design thinking, just a brief introduction. So it will be design thinking 101 and leading it towards why design thinking for AI applications, why we are going with AI applications, and how you are going to apply it. And meanwhile, while we are doing all these discussions, we will be just taking an example of a case study, and we will conclude with our remarks that okay, what we learned so far, how is it all wrap up, and we are going to conclude with some main basic points that how we are going with design thinking. I just wanted to add on one thing. If you have any questions, just feel free to add on, because I think Ms. Hind will be moderating the session. She will be able to pass it on to me. And at the end of the session, we will have a Q&A part so that you can put it your questions and what you want to ask from the perspective of AI applications or applying design thinking or anything else. So when we heard the word design thinking, what actually design thinking is, it is very important to understand that what is this process. Okay, so design thinking itself is actually something that makes you feel that your user or the people who will use your product, they are the one who comes first. So you have to make your product human centric. Okay, so whatever you are trying to build, you should know that who are going to use it or who will be the users for your applications. Now, I know most of you might be thinking that we all think about our users. I build XYZ applications and I have my users in my mind all the time. I don't forget them. I know what their requirement is. But here's the catch. You know, the problem when we build applications, we assume things. For me, as a you can say leader or as a technology consultant, I also agree that we assume things. That once I'm trying to build something, let's suppose I'm trying to build an application for a hospital. Okay, there are a few things that I do collaborate with my client and ask them that, okay, what do you want? What are your requirements? And once I collect them, I work on them, and I get back to them with my results and ask them, okay, how do you feel? And later on, I proceed working on that more. But it doesn't work in the same way. You shouldn't be just collaborating and working with client on the basis of, okay, we'll get the requirement and we will work on it. You should have a clear understanding of the user itself, because you don't know about the environment, in which environment the users are working with your system. Maybe they are working in their offices, maybe they are working on some on site, on some in some field area. So environment does matter when it comes to a product. Okay, the same application, if you use at office, it's a different experience than an application that you use on field during your work, during construction. Maybe someone is working on cranes and they will use your application. But when you developed it, you don't know this knowledge, because you didn't know that who are going to use it. You made the application, your application solves the problem, but your application is not human centric or people centric, because you didn't made it for users. You made it just to solve the problem, and later you assume that in this way this problem should be solved for my client, because okay, XYZ, I applied these steps, I gave them these features, and this should work fine for them. And once they complain that we are not happy, it's not working fine, it's not working up to our mark, you claim that no, we provided you all the features. But here's the main point: you didn't understand your user. You didn't know the people who are you are providing the application. So design thinking is actually that instead of what we usually do is that we look at a problem and we work on, okay, this will be the solution XYZ. I will have a meeting with my client and I will tell, okay, we have a solid solution, we can provide a good application to you, this will be the features and all these things. But the point here comes in, once you get a problem, you should start knowing that, okay, who are those people who is having this problem? Okay, so should I meet them? I should observe them. Maybe you don't need to meet them, maybe you can just observe them using their current system. So you will observe their current situation, their current experience. Maybe they have some difficulties in using their system. So you will have some time in observing the users, and then you will try to get the points that, okay, these are the pain points of my users. They are having these issues in 1, 2, 3, 4. You will list the issues, what you observe from the users. Okay, instead of just getting the problem statement from the client directly, from the project manager or from the higher level authority, that okay, this is the problem of my people, of our company, we want our solution. Most of the time the problem is, sometimes the higher level executives, or you can say the person who works at C level, top level executives, they are not aware of the problems who are working below to their team. Okay, maybe some team like the hospital staff, the CEO of the staff, they will not be aware what's the problem the staff is having, until unless the staff will go to them, report to them. They will note it down and they will say, okay, we will have a meeting with the developer team, with the development team, and we will ask them, okay, we need XYZ system. But
Ms. Raneem,
yeah,
sorry for interrupting. The audience are asking if you can please put the presentation slides on the presentation mode, so it could be enlarged and you can move it as well. So you can talk at the same time, they would see the slides reflecting your talk.
okay, for me, it's in the presentation mode already.
If you can just click on the presentation mode, so
Yeah,
it
for
would.
me, it's already in the presentation mode.
Okay. All right.
You can see in the presentation mode.
No, we see the slides within the PowerPoint itself as an edited version.
Just a second.
But it's okay as long as you can move it.
Yeah, I can move it, but let me. do a trick. Yeah, is this working now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Fine. Thank you for the heads up. Okay, so what we do is you look at a problem. Instead of working on the solution directly, you try to understand the people who will be using the product or solution, and then figure out that I can do this for these XYZ problems because you have the problem. So what you are trying to do is that you try to reframe the traditional development method. The traditional method is what we usually do. We know the problem, we try to come up with a solution that we have this XYZ product and that will solve your problem. That's it. So you try to change this traditional method and focus on the users and try to start working and start getting the requirements and consider all the situation from the eyes of the user, that okay, I am the user, I will feel the pain that what the user might be having, so their problem should be solved. So this is a very important part when we develop any system, even it's an AI application, a blockchain application, an IoT device. If you are working on that, it is a very important point, but mostly it's overlooked. And this is the key of a successful AI design, or successful, you can say, design of any product if you are working on any application. So this is actually a design thinking approach, that you put your peoples first, or you put your users first. So here the point is that if you are working on in a design thinking approach, it's not only that you are only emphasizing on the users, but also because once you see some problems with your users, that where they are seeing the issues, what are their pain points, what you try to do is that you try to understand their problem. You will have your team with you and do a brainstorming session, that how we can help them, how we can provide a service that will solve this issue, and then start working on a prototype and test the idea, test it with the client, test it with the users who will work, and get the feedback. So it's an iterative loop. You work on it, you get the different ideas from your team, you work on the prototype, you test it, you get it to the users who will use it, and with the feedback you will again work on it with the brainstorming ideas. Okay, so an iterative approach, but you are focusing on users. You will involving multiple teams in your multiple people in your teams. It's not about just you are focusing the developers or the designers. You should have multiple people already in your team, so that you will have more ideas coming into the table. So just to summarize the design thinking idea, if we start from the right side, the blue part, or what the design thinking is, we know that, okay, first we empathize, like you conduct a research, you understand your users. This is the usual, you can say, phases of design thinking. You empathize, you define, ideate, prototype, and test. So the first thing is you conduct a research. Research could be in any way. You observe your users, or maybe you get a feedback, you get a survey form from your users, you ask them to fill this, what is their problem, you meet them, you have an interview session. So it can be in any way. You try to understand your users. Once you understand your users, the second part is that you combine all your research and try to observe where is your user's problem and what is the point that where they are having issues. Then after defining, you try to ideate. Now, this ideate is very, you can say, a fun practice if you apply it with an open mind, with a diverse fashion. Now, what Ideate will do, let's suppose, usually, as for I'm from a development background, I know what we do is that if we are working on any product, we work within the team, only just me, my designer, our other developers, backend developer, front-end developer, our content writer. So what we usually do is that we just work within the team who are working on the project. And mostly other people who are not technical, they are not part of the meeting. But ideate, this part is the step where you can let anyone enter your meeting and have a discussion just from a user's perspective. Because any application you are creating, everyone is your users. Okay, like if you are creating an application for a hotel, every one of us use hotels. Okay, every one of us went to any of the hotel to stay. They have their own, you can say, imagination. They have their own wishes, that I wish my hotel had this facility, I wish this hotel will improve this. So how you will tell your wishes? Because you are not a developer, you will not be invited to any such meeting. You, let's suppose I belong to any XYZ graphic designing department. They don't ask my ideas, my thoughts, or maybe I belong to any hospitality position, so they don't ask me. So the point here in the ideate is range of creative ideas. Now, here's the thing is, you should have a diverse, empowered team. Diverse team means you shouldn't be focusing on people just from, okay, I will have one developer, two designers, three backend developer, four front end, and one API and mobile app, and that's it. This is will be our meeting. You should try to involve as much different people as you can. Why? Because you are just trying to brainstorm on the ideas that how we can solve this user's problem. Now, design thinking works in a very, you can say, an amazing and a very fun, productive way that usually if you see any videos or any pictures, even after this session, if you search design thinking practice or design thinking example, you will see many pictures, a whiteboard, and what in a whiteboard you will see sticky notes stick to the whiteboard. Now, what will be on the sticky notes? Everyone will have their sticky notes notepad, and what they will do is whatever their point is, okay, this will be my point. They will have their own markers and they will write the points, 1 point per sticky note, and they will go and stick to the whiteboard. Okay, this part I see, this is the problem, this is the problem. So one person who will be leading the whole design thinking practice, and they will ask everyone to give their suggestions, give their ideas. So what will be the result? You will have a diverse thoughts, you will have diverse ideas, and you will keep on doing the same practice until you will decide, okay, we will focus on this specific problem. Let's keep on focusing on the same example for a hotel. Okay, if we talk about a hotel example, we know that for a hotel there are two type of you can say travelers or passengers who stays at their place. Like one is business travelers, or another is, you can say, the casual one who came to stay for business purposes, and another one who just for you vacations or any XYZ purpose. So that may be usually family who stay like more than one people. Business travelers are usually just one person who might be senior. They must need a good stable Wi-Fi connection. They have a different body language. They need a different environment to work in. So their preferences for the room will be different from a family or from a casual person who came to stay at your hotel. So if you are designing an application for a hotel, for guests in your hotel, you try to focus on which guests you are trying to build your application. So you will target, okay, I will first try to resolve the problem of my business guests. Why? Because we know that their package must be more expensive as compared to the casual one, and their needs are something very important to you because it is related to some company. If you satisfy one business guest's need, you will get more guests from the same company because they had a good experience. So you try to go for one type of guest, which is business guests. If I say that, okay, I get there, I'm into the first stage, I conduct a research, I go to the hotel and I see that what business people usually looking for, what's their problem. And if I get the understanding of, okay, what type of users they are, I got their problem, that okay, once they enter the room, what are their problems, the Wi-Fi connections, the snacks, the services at the room, the temperature setting, what makes them frustrated, what makes them happy in the room. So you try to analyze, you try to define all these things, and then you came back to your team. Now, you as a design thinking practitioner or as a leader in your project, you are applying the design thinking practice. What you will do is you will have a meeting and you will say, okay, we are building an application for a hotel and we are focusing on business guests. And we got this 1, 2, 3, 10 problems from business guests that this hotel is facing. Now, how we can resolve? Now, anyone in the meeting, they can come up with their own solution. Okay, like we can have a temperature sensor, we can have a mobile application that will serve them, that will update you once the guest is about to arrive. We can have a loyalty program so that the guests who visit very frequently, they will be more happy with the services that is provided to them. So what you try to do is you try to have some crazy ideas, creative ideas. It can be anything. It doesn't matter that you should be very logical, very technical. You can say that you are going to list your wish list. I wish this hotel has this thing. Now, after you ideate some things, you can say cluster it. Okay, these things increase our sales, these things increase the network experience, Wi-Fi experience. This XYZ4 sticky notes makes pleasant welcome to the guest. So what you try to do, once you cluster, you will start removing the one that you think that it's not in your priority. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to reach your goal, what you will do exactly, how you will solve your user's problem. So this ideate, this is a team practice, and that's any team, any person who wants to join your team, they can have any idea to share with you. And once you can see your whiteboard is very much aligned, you will know where you are targeting, why you are doing it, so what's your end result, what you are seeing in your increased sales, increased customer satisfaction, what should be your result. So then you do a prototype, like you make something MVP or something like POC, that okay, this it should look like, and you test it. You put it into the test to the hotel. Some users came in, they use the same service. If they feel it's good, then you try to implement in for everyone. Otherwise, you again try to create another range of ideas, because you already have the problems. You try to just work on the brainstorming session. So first, the thing in the design thinking is you understand your users. Second is you explore the possibilities. And the last is you materialize, yani you test it, you implement it. So that's how the design thinking practice takes you towards your product goal, or make your not only customer, but also the users satisfied. They should be happy and satisfied with whatever you provided to them. So these are the phases. The main one: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So when you talk about design thinking principles and the process, so this is the same thing that's being written here. What I told you before, it inspires the employees to ask questions, like discuss the whole scenario. Have you can say a productive session of questions and answers, of ideas, that okay, what will be the problem statement, what will be our solution, because you are trying to just do the brainstorming. There is no technicality involved, there is no master science involved, there is nothing someone should be this much knowledgeable, someone should know software engineering, someone should know this. It's just a simple English. You share your experience, you discuss in every aspect that what you think it can improve, then you go to a problem statement and the possible solution. this is somewhat what I told you before. Now, if I'm sure that all of you are from the background, like you must have a knowledge, basic knowledge of artificial intelligence, that how data is important to AI, and how we say that data is the fuel to your artificial intelligence application. So your base is data. So once you know the problem statement, you are trying to solve the problem, still data is your priority. The importance of data is not less anymore. So even this practice is very good. I found it very useful. Once you try to collect the data, try to divide it in some sections, like what public data you will get, what private data you will get, and what data you will get from the users. Like users data can be contact information, their location, their personal information like their email addresses. So these can be users data, or about their flights, when they will be reaching the hotel or something like this. Private data is something that you will get from some application or some other service related um, to their flights, or something like, okay, if something happens to this booking, what you will do. And public data is something that you will get it from everywhere, like the data for weather, how the weather is going, or you can say the flight status, what's the status for the flights from the airport or something. So you will know that what API points you will need, how much you are going to interact with external services, how much information you will get from the users. So that will be under the GDPR consent as well, so that will not violate the privacy issues with the users. And the left axis, I really like the point that you can also divide it in the three sections. That's really important, that some data that you must have, like without these your application will not work. Some data you want or you need for your application to work. But the last one is a nice to have, like it's good if you get this data, it's good if you get this information from like private sources, from users, but it's not compulsory. So this chart, if you make it like this, and you come up like next day, you will have a clear idea what you were discussing yesterday and how you are proceeding forward. Even for the development point of view, it's going to make things very much simpler and very much clear in a perspective that you had a good discussion, you had a good brainstorming, you are clear in your thoughts, you are not changing your ideas at every stage, because that's going to be difficult for the developers as well. They are going to redo the work again and again, because you think, oh no, oh we need an integration with the flight service. Also we need an integration with the weather data. So if you don't know your data exactly before your AI application starts working on, it will make these things difficult. So try to be as clear as you can with your AI application before moving towards your next steps. Like after these steps, I know the most important part that all of you may be aware of is collecting the data, because for AI, your data is the main thing. Like the quality and quantity of data, both of them is very important part when it comes to artificial intelligence applications. Even for me, when I teach to the Pearson courses, we have professionals, they are planning to have their startup, and at the end of the course we do discuss an AI strategy, that how you make an AI strategy. So usually the question I get is, from where I get the data? So that's the main point. The data quality and the data quantity, these two are the most important part. So how you get the data, from where you get the data, is very much easy if you really know that what you are trying to do, and if you have this sort of metrics table on your mind already, or with your team, that okay, this is data which we will need. Okay, so proceeding with, I hope design thinking as a concept might be clear for you. So it works in teams. You must have a diverse team. You will work on some idea. You will bring the ideas on table, and you will try to expand your team as much as you can to have some good ideas, to have some good suggestions to solve any issue. And you will work on a prototype and get the feedback from the users, and you again work on the ideation, like on the brainstorming part. So this is the practice of design thinking, that how do you work if you are working on the design thinking way. So why we are discussing design thinking for AI application. So if we talk about AI, I know that AI is a technology that's their applications is endless. Like if we see the applications of AI, it can be like unlimited. It can be applied anywhere you are trying to, give the same, somewhat similar abilities to a bot that what human already do. So just so that you will have some increased profit, you will have some increased productivity, your customer will be more satisfied. Even in some companies, they don't use AI so much. Maybe just they have a small thing that is called chatbot in their website. Even for a chatbot, it's very important to have the data and to have a clear thinking why you are having a chatbot. Yani just don't make this chatbot just for the sake of using AI. Like, okay, we will have artificial intelligence in our company and we will apply it. Firstly, we will have a chatbot. Why you will have a chatbot? Because you should have a design thinking whole process, that okay, what is the problem my users are facing? They browse my website late at night and they see a number at the customer service, but this number, this person is cannot be someone who is 24 hours available. So we need someone who can just cater the questions of my users to some extent, and if they have some advanced question, they can reach out to a specific human agent. So you should have a clear idea what problem you are trying to solve for a user, and then you will go that okay, what possibilities you can have. Maybe you will have a chatbot. Maybe you will embed WhatsApp in your chatbot, that it will not be a robot. It will be embedded with a human WhatsApp, and that person can reply from their WhatsApp. So it will be easier for our employees, for one who will manage the customer support, and for our users also, because they are interacting with the humans, so they will be more satisfied. So there are XYZ different ideas even to apply a chatbot. And then you will decide the scope, to what extent you will provide the knowledge to chatbot. Definitely, you are not going to make your chatbot like, a different robot, a super robot, and that's something every knowledge that robot should have. You will put some limited knowledge to that chatbot. So here comes the whole thing. You should know what you are trying to do and why you are doing that. And then you will apply the chatbot, and you know that, okay, after this, I should see some differences in my customer satisfaction. I will have more customer coming towards me because they will get the responses on the queries, whatever they want. So what's the whole point of bringing design thinking with AI is the adoption of AI. Maybe I'm sure if you are following different sources, different news, the emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, these technologies is something that is always in discussion, that how it can be going towards mass adoption of AI, mass adoption of blockchain. Why everyone is focusing on mass adoption? So that it can be acceptable, it can be massly adopted and workable in the whole as in different use cases. So for design thinking, what we are trying to do is we are trying to take AI to the masses, so that if every solution, if you make, like even AI solution, any solution, if you make it for specifically human centric, they will be happy to use it. They will not ask you, okay, are you using AI behind it, or is it any blockchain? Because we as a technology professionals, we are concerned about the technology. But any users, they don't focus on these things until unless they are getting what they want, or it's fulfilling their demands or their wishes. So what we are trying to do with design thinking is we make our AI solution people centric, human centric. So that will secure the whole, you can say, the future potential of AI. It will make it more adopted, more accepted by the society. So they will be easily accepted that okay, we will use this application regardless of whatever it's based on. It's based on AI, it's based on anything, but as far as it is giving them the results, they will adopt it. So the last thing it's written that to ensure successful AI implementations, organization must know these are the most important point, like why, where, and how they can apply AI to a specific problem. Because this is the problem when we adopt any of these technologies. Like they don't know why they are doing it, but they do it just for the sake of it, because of its AI, because it's trending, because it's going very fast. So it's a hot trend of 2021, and we have to jump on AI. So you should have a clear goal, why, where you will apply it, and how you will do it. Because these sort of technologies, you cannot just apply as a whole. You have to start small and iterate over time, like small. It's not that you just take your whole department and say this will be on the basis of AI from next few months, we will transform it. This cannot happen. We have to start very small and work on it on a very small basis, like iteration. So the role of design thinking come into place when we see the successful AI implementations. Maybe you are aware of, some of you saw that there are so many startups, they are building on the basis of AI, but some of them failed to achieve what they are trying to do. They were not really getting what they want. Why? Because they were not clear. They didn't target the users. They target their product, and they say that okay, this will be go to the market and this will flourish by itself. They are not aware that who are their users, why they are making it, where you are going to use this AI thing. So this is the role of how you use design thinking in AI, and that makes your implementation, your whole plan, a successful AI implementation. So this is again an example that I saw you that I shared with you about that how you put in a chatbot, in a whiteboard, or you can say a chart, white chart. So you see the ideas of these sticky notes. I like this thing because you will have a diverse ideas coming into different sections, and you can remove it, you can add any, you can remove it, add any. So it will be more clear for your team to proceed next day from where they left. So it will be very much clear for the whole team that how they are proceeding, what they are working on, what's their focus, what's their problem. So that will be a really nice way of doing the work for designing the system. For small meetings, I know it's being followed in some companies, like using the sticky notes and the whiteboard, but for designing the whole project before the start of the project, it's really important to put efforts on the project itself, why you are doing it, how you will apply this thing, and where you will apply your technology, why you are applying it. Don't create the problem for a customer. Try to solve a problem for them. Like, don't try to, okay, they don't have any problem, they don't have any need of AI. I will bring something new and make them, okay, you will use AI like this. So try to find out their problem and then apply this, your approach, your, you can say, suggestion on that. So how do you apply design thinking to AI? The first part is very critical, like you put the people first, not a competitive advantage. Like currently, what all the usually the practice is, everyone see their advantage as a company, or as a, you can say, a client. We usually see, okay, if we do this for this company, this will be a big project for us, and that will be a success for our company. Like we made an AI product, we launched an AI product, it's been implemented in the customer area. So you are trying to see your advantages. What you should do is you should put the people first for whom you are designing. Invite more people in the process. Like which process? Which I told you before, like the ideate. Get more ideas, get the brainstorming. Like it's a crazy part. If you see some videos, even on YouTube, you will love the whole idea that how everyone comes in. It's usually followed in big companies in Europe usually. So I really love the whole concept that how they invite everyone to put their thoughts on the papers and stick it. Like it can be anyone from any department. It's not, focus on just technical people will come in because they will know the product. But from a user perspective, you should get a diverse team to get whatever the ideas they can bring. Then keep your focus on collaboration. Yani, if you have some different ideas from different people, collaborate on that. Don't try to there is some problem start happening that no, I want my ideas to be stick there, I will leave the team, I will not work with them. So it shouldn't be working like this. You should be working in a collaborative mode, because you are trying to solve the problem of people. You give your suggestions, but maybe that suggestion is not helpful at this stage. Maybe they will ask and they will implement at some future, you can say in some future extension or some in some future version. So what we do is that we have a collaborative approach. We do it in a collaborative advantage, like it's in a collaboration manner. So as a technology builders and data gatherers, we have a responsibility to put humans first. So this is again important part for the companies. We usually put our advantage, like our competitive part at our forefront. Like we don't think of the users who will use it, like how they will feel. So if you embed this design thinking whole in the organizational culture, so it will be easier for them to adopt the market, the changing market conditions. Like they can adopt the changes because you know that your organizations, the people who are working with your company, they are involved in this idea making. So they will know that, okay, if some change is happening, we know that you got the ideas from very different people. We got the ideas from so many people working in different fields. So you will try to get good results from your solution, what you try to do for your customer. So when we talk about the whole conclusion for the design thinking, uh, this is the way forward. Again, I'm saying the same thing. It's not about just the AI application, but for you working and studying under the IDA lab and attending the good seminars and webinars happening in the IDA, you should try to cover this aspect also, that how you make your AI strategy or your AI implementation successful. You if you go with design thinking way, it is something that will make you a successful implementation for your product. Everyone can play a role in how their team innovates with AI. Again, this is the part I mentioned. When you ideate, everyone in your organization can play a role. Even I will say, like T-boy, someone working in cafeteria, they must have some ideas. Like if you ask them, have you been in any hotel? What was your experience? What's your suggestion? If you enter into the hotel, what's the problem you face? Maybe they will say, I usually find no one in the reception. I keep on calling, I keep on asking, where is my reservation? They take long time to search my reservation. So everyone has their experience. So you should ask the people, anyone who is working in your organization. The more you will have diversity, the more good results and successful implementation you will have. The third point is what we already know is data is still the king. It's not that we are saying that you will forget about data, but if you are clear with the design thinking approach, you will have a clear, good quantity and quality data, because you know what you are doing, why you are doing it so, and how you will do it. So data is something that your success of your AI solution depends on what you gather in your data. So the the fourth point is very important. We need to do a better job reevaluating our product decisions through design thinking. Design thinking makes it easier for you to decide that why you are doing it, how and where. Okay, so this is the whole point of decision making. If you decide for your product, either AI, either not. Maybe it's something if you identify your user, the first phase. Like in emphasize, if you observe your user, you collect, you collaborate, the second phase. Once you get your pain points, the users, you write it down, and maybe you will discuss in your team and ideate. You will have the conclusion that they don't need AI. Why we are going with AI? They can have this problem solved with a simple XYZ form, or maybe we will make a web page for them. That's it. So it's not that you try to ingest AI in them. You should know that you are trying to make good product decisions for your client. Again, here's the same thing I told you before, the competitive advantage. If I know for a company like me, for a client, I will be happy to ingest AI in them because I know that will give us a profit. That will give us a good name that we are now, we made a product on AI for this XYZ client. But again, I try to make my product decisions good. So we have to make sure that we are taking good decisions when it comes to designing your products using any technology, XYZ technology. Because these technology, it's not something like you create a web page and halas, you are done. You will fill the form and you have your AI application ready. You must have a back end work done, a lot of things like data quality, data collection, data cleaning, how you keep your data structures, like how you keep it structured, and everything. You train your model, how your model will be trained, how it will how the algorithm will answer it. So there is a lot of thing when we talk about any AI application. So this product decision is very much important, because if you apply design thinking, your product decisions will be very clear and to the point. So the last thing is very much you can say a known thing that's known in our industry. Like whenever you are in doubt, always design for people first and what they need. But what we usually do is, to be very honest and to be very straightforward, what we do in our industry is that when we are in doubt, we do what's feasible for us. We do what's feasible for our business, for our company, and for the technology team. People, we think that they will manage, or maybe we will try to negotiate with the client that, okay, we made something for you, it works like this, something like this. So always design for people first, and then work around your business, your technology, your team, like this. So this is the whole conclusion from the whole slides. We started with design thinking. About the design thinking itself, I try to give you the main steps of design thinking, why you do this, and where it will help you in your AI strategy. And then we moved that why do you apply design thinking? We got an example for a hotel, like how there is a difference in users. You try to identify which users you will target, and you list the pain points, and you try to work around different ideas with team. And then we discussed that, okay, how you will apply this design thinking whole thing in your AI applications, and moving forward, what you will get as a conclusion, and why you are doing design thinking in all this aspect. So this is all from my side. I try to keep it as informative for you from the design thinking perspective, because I know you are able to get to know AI from different webinars, different seminars happening under AIDA. But for design thinking as a practice, or as a framework, now you can apply it to your AI applications. You can think of applying it, or maybe you can continue searching over it, or maybe if you want something to discuss more, or get more links on that, you can ask me on LinkedIn. I am pretty much active on LinkedIn, so you can contact me there as well. If you have any sort of questions, you can ask me in chat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raneem, for the great presentation. Please, if you have any question, feel free to ask. You can open your microphone and ask, or you can write it in the chat section below.
A LinkedIn URL. Okay, just a second. I just missed it putting on my slides. You're welcome.
Okay, if we don't have other questions, then thank you so much, Mr. Raneem, for the great presentation. It was very, very informative, mashallah. Thank you all for attending today's webinar. I would appreciate if all of you write your name in the shared attendance sheet so you can get your certificate of attendance. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Thanks for joining in. Bye-bye.